2026 is going to be a knife fight between AI-powered slop and human-led authentic brands. The tools are commoditized. The way you use them, though, is not. Let's talk about what you need to focus on for your marketing in 2026. Hey, Linda, welcome to the show.
Nice to see you again, Mobes. I am so excited for this topic. We've got 5 key points that we're going to be talking about today. But yeah, when you said this to me, I was like, wow, it's so true. This really is what's going to be happening in 2026. Everybody's going to be scrambling to use AI, be efficient with it, but we're going to see a lot of brands using it in the wrong way.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that today.
Yeah, we'll balance those two things together for sure. And we like to do this every year. Like, what are the key big things? What are things we've seen work for us and our clients? So it's the perfect time to talk about it, what's actually going to work in 2026, as well as specifically what's worked for us. And namely the first one, which is something that we've been doing for years actually, but we're seeing more and more brands do it and a lot of people getting a lot of results from that. And that's founder-led and key team member-led content. So what are we talking about here? So this is essentially, actually, let me start with the story. So we recently hired a new sales guy, Joe. Shout out to Joe. And he said something to me very interesting. He said, Moby, I was on the fence about leaving a lucrative industry. Like, I came from an industry I've been in my whole life to come to yours, but I noticed something. Like, none of the business I worked at had founder-led content. Like, it's like, I just noticed like they weren't doing any of that content. And you do a lot of content. You get all these leads from speaking that you don't have time to call. I'm like, oh, this is going to be easy for me.
Wow. And that was a pro for him.
Yeah, that for him was, he recently told me this week when we hired him, because that was the thing. Like, he was already quite interested, but that was the thing. It's like, they don't have founder-led content.
Mm-hmm.
And so like they don't, I think the key thing here is it's really, really important. The personalities allow you to jump that bridge between the brand and the people, because people want to do work with people.
I was thinking as well, even from a marketing perspective, as well, even in recruitment, I think it's a real pro for people to be able to see who they're going to potentially work with before they even reach out to the company.
Yeah.
Recruitment, marketing. Yeah.
Absolutely. And before people think, oh yeah, cool, yeah, but we're a big brand. Like, that's BS. Like, I found some studies here. B2B SaaS teams report big B2B SaaS teams have reported 40% of their pipeline from founder-led content.
Wow.
HubSpot, they've come outright and actually said this. A lot of people have done studies on this, like Dharmesh, the new CEO who's there. They have a proper plan and strategy in place where they are just pumping out content.
I can see companies attempting this and having a key problem here, Mobe. So I'm keen to hear what your advice would be. We've all seen when senior leadership is really removed from the on the ground stuff.
Yeah.
How can they avoid putting their faces out there, sharing content that is so unattached from the execution teams? In fact, maybe even making it harder for them because they're selling the dream or selling something that we don't quite do anymore.
So is the question or concern the founders are removed from the execution?
Yeah. So the content that they put out might not actually be so close to the product that they're selling or the service that they're selling.
I think it's a really good question. And it depends, like if you're a startup or a small business, the founder is probably doing a lot of the work.
Yeah.
But let's look at the other extreme. Like, say you're there's a really cool mattress brand called Koala, right? Or say you are, it doesn't matter what you're, but a really big business or a really big brand. Then I think the focus shifts a little bit. The focus then shifts on like, what are your values? What's the story? You know, like I don't know Koala's story, but I created Koala mattresses because, you know, I was sick of landfill and I was sick of, you know, low quality mattresses made in third world countries, whatever the story actually is.
Yeah.
So it becomes about the story, like why did they create it? People still, like, if you're buying something, right? Like I remember when, you know, Soph was buying like a lot of pregnancy stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I'd see her like looking at videos and Instagram videos of the founders, even if they were big businesses, because that resonated with her. Like, okay, that's that woman's story and that's why she created this business. So it doesn't matter if they're removed from it. It's just the focus of the content shifts.
Okay.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah. That's essentially the way to do it.
Another question for you, Mobe. So could it not potentially become a crutch for you know, the founder always putting their face out there and then clients wanting to come and work with that founder rather than with their team?
I am very well aware of that. And I've always sort of focused on, and it's really funny, right? Because I say you focus on your strengths, but you know what's really funny about that? Like if you look at my early stuff, it was garbage. It was rubbish. You can't say, like now I can say, like, let's focus on our strengths, but I couldn't say that then. It was just something I was passionate in doing. And I was really, really well aware of that. So when we started adding to the team, and like Linda, you were like one of the first people added to the team, I was really conscious. And that's why I got you guys on the camera as fast as I could.
Yeah.
And here's the interesting thing. I think if you're just one person, then you have really no choice, and it doesn't really matter. You don't have a team anyway, right? Like, so you're just trying to build demand generation. If it's one person, they will just want to work with that person, right? Especially if it's a bigger business. But here's my hypothesis on this. Say if it's just 3 people, they won't just want to work with those 3 people. And the reason for that is like, oh, that is the team. Okay, there's multiple people there. Like, so they can make that connection in their head. Well, a lot of the people in that team must be good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
so,
it's a standard that just gets set.
If it's
rather than just one person.
There is a risk that they just want to work with the one, but it's not the same for 3. If it's 3, I don't believe, of course, some of them might want to work with it. Of course they will. But it's an easier stretch to represent that as a team.
Yeah, makes sense.
And it just makes sales easier. So like this was really good timing on Joe's first day. We got a lead, and I said, look, make sure you ask where they heard about us. And he said, they said that the woman said that she heard about us from the podcast. So shout out to if you're listening, you know who you are. We won't call you out in case we're not allowed. And he said the rest of the call was really easy. Yeah. Now, maybe some of that was psychological because in his mind, he's like, okay, it's both, right? Oh, cool. They know us already, right? They've consumed our content. But also he was saying like a lot of the things that they were talking about made a lot of sense. So you jump the trust barrier a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the first one. We can wrap that one up. Like if there's any key takeaways here, the key thing we would actually say is like, get outside your echo chamber. Like don't just actually focus on AI. And this actually connects back to AI. Like in this era, that's why I want to start with this actually. In this era of AI slop, it really is. We were doing this well before AI, but it makes a lot of sense even more so to do it now. There's actually a visible anti-AI backlash. Like there's campaigns coming out there where they're actually saying this was not used. We did not use AI for this. It kind of reminds me of like the Dove. You know, the Dove, one of the best campaigns ever, the Dove Real Women campaign where they had real women, right? It's kind of like that now. It's like real marketing. So there is an anti-backlash. And what I mean by get out of your echo chamber, everyone listening to this is in sales or marketing. We are echo chamber. Just because all of us love AI, don't think your customers like AI.
Good point.
Someone, I think it was Tash maybe saying that, she's on TikTok a lot more than I am these days. And she was saying like, there's a huge like groundswell of young people who hate AI.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, oh, that's really weird. I thought it'd be old people. No, it's young people. They're like, oh, AI this, AI that. Yeah. So don't assume that in your echo chamber, your customers, that just because it's AI, they're going to love it. People are getting sick of it.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So second one is AI native marketing with a hard no slop standard. So what do we mean by this? So we know that AI isn't going anywhere. I've got a study that says 93% of CMOs say they're already seeing clear ROI from Gen AI in marketing. I know my clients are seeing that in their end of month reports. We now show AI rankings and conversions, which is wild.
So we're not trying to overcorrect here. We're not saying don't use it. We're saying like legit, like you say, Linda, like people, we are seeing ROI in marketing. Yeah,
that's it.
AI marketing.
But now what we're seeing is the market react to what's visibly an AI developed ad or AI creative. We saw this with Coke's Christmas, the Toys R Us ad as well, where it was really visible that, the children in that ad were created using AI, and, when they turned their head, it wasn't quite, it wasn't realistic, and you could very visibly tell people had a very big, there was a morality issue there. There was negative backlash. Selling to kids using AI, as well as all the other backlash that followed them. So we're seeing, and Moby kind of mentioned it, but that anti-AI positioning angle and actually using that to your advantage. I guess the takeaway here is you want to be smart. As a marketer, sometimes you want to send out a quick and dirty campaign, and the obvious option might be let's just use AI to develop the creative. But you need to think about your market and how they're going to respond to that. and instead think about, okay, if we need to do something quick and dirty, are there other elements rather than the ideation and the end result that have to actively show that you're using AI?
Yeah.
Use it in your processes instead.
Yeah, the way to summarize it, and you can talk to some examples here, Linda, like use AI to increase volume, iteration speed, and research, not outsource your actual thinking. So like just, to be completely honest with you, this podcast itself, I used AI. I'm like, hey, I want to talk about, and the amount of time it took me to draft the notes for this, because it did all the studies for me, showed all the research. Like this would have normally taken me like an hour of research.
Yeah.
I swear to God, and yes, we do it a lot. It took me about 10 minutes.
Mobes, can I say that's a great example of good versus bad AI use. So like Mobes just said, we use AI to help with some of the concept. We use AI absolutely to help us with actually putting the editing and all the production together. But it's you and me sitting here right now having the conversation, and that's what people connect with.
Yeah.
But we've all seen it now, those podcast clips on Instagram and TikTok, and it's a person that's created with artificial intelligence. And you can see they're talking and it's not marrying to their mouth.
Yeah.
So it's clearly using AI. And as soon as I see that person, I know I switch off straight away.
And don't be distracted by that. Like, that's great. That's good that there's AI slop. Like, you can be really authentic and stand out.
Yeah.
So even though we've just kind of been doing this, like, it's going to mean even more now. So yeah, you can't use it to outsource your thinking. I literally prompted it like this. I'm like, we're doing end of year. And I was talking to it. I use the voice memo function a lot, doing end of year trends and stuff. Here's one trend. And I started with a trend. So I wanted to give it an example. And I used the founder and team member content. Give me research. It told me Airbnb is doing it. It told me AI is doing it. OpenAI is doing it. It's told me B2B teams are doing it, right? SaaS teams are doing it. It's given me all the references. And then it fleshed out about 7 others. 4 of them I thought were garbage. Mm-hmm. The others were okay. But yeah, no, that's awesome. So I think the key thing that we'll move off of this one is no AI content. Again, these are not hard and fast rules, right? No AI content published without a human point of view. Mm-hmm. Sometimes that could be a story being laid in or human intervention or human checks and stuff. And no generic ultimate guide to ABC unless it's based on your actual data and experience. So if you don't have that, you don't have it. But, you can use third-party studies, make sure they're referenced, but your own stories and your own data and experience. And that's why coming to this show, we're thinking about our own client experiences and our own stories. That's how you actually get it to stand out.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, what's next, Mobes?
Cool. So short form video stays king, but long form video becomes the trust engine. So it's been the year of video for the last 10 years. So I'm not going to say that, but I think what's different here, and every report that we looked at, or every report and reference we found, is literally saying the same thing. Short form and vertical video still dominate, with social commerce and community layered on top. Now, let's talk about this more. So Alex Hormozi is a real human walking case study on this, right? So he'll have these long form. Now, this is something we've been talking about for years. Everyone does it now. The whole take a podcast, we do it ourselves, create clips, chop up hundreds of clips. So that content pyramid model has been around for years. The nuance now is how you sort of think about it, right? So the short form content will get you the reach, right? But the long form content, and it's not just podcasts, whatever works for your business. So podcast, webinars, deep YouTube videos, pillar articles, that'll build the demand.
Yeah.
And that'll be really connected to one of the other ideas we say. A lot of these actually connect together, getting a database and having your own community, right? That's going to be super, super important. Mm-hmm. So the short form will get the reach, and that's what the objective is for. So and this is where the short form is really good, because you create that content, you can run it on ads. Sorry, you see what pops, then you can actually run that on ads. It's often a really, really good experiment before you create ads with it.
Yeah.
But unless you're going to be running on ads with really good call to actions, don't expect it to get you leads.
Yeah.
You still need a long form connection. Podcast for some, but I'd say more than podcasts now, especially in 2026, because I've been podcasting since 2016. It was really easy. It was really easy to get leads. We still get leads from it because we've been around for a while, but it is harder and harder to cut through.
Yeah.
So I would say, if you can, don't rely on podcasts to be your only long form thing. Mm-hmm. Webinars are really good.
I was going to say, recommendations,
especially
webinars
B2B,
as well.
or especially high value purchases. But there's other things too, like if you're doing research, studies, papers, then you can cut that up into stuff as well. But we don't need to sort of overcut that. And then the final thing there is when it comes to video, like really get obsessive around hooks, like the first 3 seconds of a video, the intro, get really obsessed on like researching that, seeing what looks good, doing courses on this, and really focus on that, because that's what's going to be harder and harder as you go. And that's why people are getting less and less results with all this slop out there.
Makes sense, Mobs.
Cool. Next one, Linda.
Okay.
This one's perfect for you, actually.
So prepare for AI search and AI agents. So we know that AI search hasn't just changed search behavior, it's made the shortlist incredibly short. And we've got an example that...
I might show it on mine because I think my screen is recording.
Yeah, beautiful.
So this is the example that Linda was about to talk about, best HubSpot agencies in Sydney. So if you're looking at the video version of this podcast, what episode are we at now? 191. So redpandas.com.au/191, or search it up on YouTube or wherever you watch video. But anyway, here's what I'm sharing, and you can listen through it as well. So in this example, we've got best HubSpot agencies in Sydney. And it's like, here are 3 strong HubSpot agencies. And thank God, Red Panda's on top. And it's also linked to our, it's really interesting. It's actually linked to our Google Places. So it says Red Pandas 5 stars. So it's really important you actually get your reviews. It's got a bunch of photos, talks why we stand out, and then it's got a bunch of others. The number second, Hubbo Experts, who I've never heard of, to be honest. There's a whole bunch of good agencies out there. No shade on you, Hubbo Experts. I'm sure you're great, but in the Australian market, I've never heard of you. I'm not endorsing you, but their stars don't come up there. And then the third one, our mates at Sinks, awesome guys there actually. Shout out to Charles. Comes up, awesome, great, right? But that in itself tells you something, right? Like one of them is completely not in our region, not in our industry. It's come up, but here's the thing: people don't know that. Yeah. So what Linda's actually saying about it's not only preparing for AI search, it's like, and the fact that you said it hasn't just made search behavior, it's made the list really short.
Yeah.
The list really short. I got a call from someone yesterday that he sent me an email, said, congratulations, you came up on Claude. And he gave me a whole long brief, and then he spent an hour with me. I know he didn't do that with everything else. Maybe he called 1 or 2 other people.
This was a prospect?
This was a prospect of ours.
Right.
But you know what I mean, Linda? Like, it's not just
people
the top 10 links anymore.
People are taking AI really seriously. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, and why?
Yeah.
Why? Like it's clearly broke. Like we all say it. We all say, oh, don't trust AI. But then we are doing it.
Yeah.
We are doing it. We're really taking it seriously. The list is really short. And like, thank God we're good at what we do. So, right? But how do you always know that?
Yeah.
So that's the example I want to share. But, back to you, Linda, in terms of like, what that actually means.
So what this means, Mobes, is people are going to jump on AI, look for answers, and they're only going to get a few options. So the pool for you to be able to rank in AI, it's actually quite small and limited. So what you want to do as a company is to be able to set yourself up to have your content shown in a way where AI and AI agents are going to favor your content. We were very clever, I want to say, on making sure that we're ranking number 1 in that example. Like, that's very intentional. And we do it in a way where we have very clear and structured data, so that way AI can crawl it and read it. So that's one example of something that you can do. Make sure that you have reviews, make sure that you have schema, make sure that the code in your website is really easy to be crawled. Make sure as well that you have strong reputation signals across all of your platforms. So the main thing with AI is it doesn't want to just hear from you. That's the biggest difference between AI and SEO. A multi-channel approach is really important in getting AI to feel like them putting you forward is a good idea. So even PR, if you're able to get press releases from other companies, have that press release on their website, not just yours. Think about different mediums where possible. I do love the idea of repurposing. So if you're running one event try and get the most out of that one event. Or if you're running one webinar, try and get the word out across all different platforms about that webinar. Don't just go gung-ho on Instagram and Facebook.
A really quick tip here, a really good pro tip that we've learned is if you do a webinar or an event, say you're doing an event on behalf of someone, make the job easy too. Write an article and ask them to put it on their website. So we did an event at the CEO Institute, right? I don't think we've actually done this. We should actually do that. This is how honest and transparent we are, right? We've got our writers. So we should ask our writer, so, hey, CEO Institute, we did an article, we did your event. Here's a piece that we've already done. Do you mind? And it can't be like too showy offy and stuff. All it needs to do is like, hey, we were proud to host Red Pandas at an event, blah, blah, blah. Why? Because AI really likes that. This is proven. We've got research on this. This is proven. Like, if you don't believe me, do a search and then ask AI, why did it rank number one? Depending on your industry, you'll get different answers. But one of the things you will get, it's like, oh, they're well-known or they're reputable and they've been here, they've been there. So there's that.
Yeah.
And on top of what you just said there, Linda, like have FAQs. So like you say, it's another form of structured data in a way where AI can read it. And the whole, I really like this one, explain it like I'm 5 pages and videos that a lazy human or an AI agent. Because here's the other thing too, and we can wrap it up on this. Yeah, the AI will give you 2 or 3 searches. And we didn't ask for 5 searches or 2, it just gave us 3. You know, who knows how many it will give you. But agents might only do 1.
Yeah.
Right? An agent is, what's an AI agent? It does actions. Like you can actually, this is where we're going to, and everyone's talking about the era of agents and we're already seeing it. But an agent would be like, hey, you know, whatever agent, find me the best HubSpot agency and book a call with me. That's only going to reach out to 1.
Yeah.
So it's now talking to humans and you have to structure in a way for agents. We used to hear all the time, oh, but my audience already knows that. Firstly, it's probably not true. You're overestimating how much your audience knows, number 1. But secondly, agents don't know that.
Yeah.
You know, AI doesn't. You have to dumb it down for them.
Yeah, 100%.
So, but yeah, what's our last one, Linda?
All right. Brand and community building is more important than ever. So what we're saying here is owned attention is going to be the most valuable thing for you. So what I mean by that is email, SMS, building communities, newsletters,
groups, Slack groups.
That's it, podcasts. You want to try and focus on nurturing your existing database as much as possible. We've been doing this with a recent client of ours. They've got a bunch of traffic that they've got tens of thousands of visitors on their site. And with only hard call to actions, they're only capturing a very small pool of those people. So being able to try and add value to all those people that know of your brand and to capture their details is going to be really, really important. You want to do more with less, I guess, is the theme for 2026, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So this is the whole, you know, Gary Vee has been talking about this for a long time. Like some people call it the dark social, but it's not just dark social, right? Dark social is like, it's closed, like WhatsApp groups and things, but it includes all those things. Anywhere you can build a community. And it doesn't really matter. We're not here to talk about the best ones. Your industry is going to be different. The key thing is like find it and be consistent. You've got school.com where you can build communities. You've got WhatsApp groups. You've got Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups. Like there's no right or wrong here that we can tell you what's best.
Yeah.
You know, email databases and communities fall into that as well, because the idea is you can't rely on these platforms. Ad privacy, cookie death, platform volatility, it's getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
So you have to build. Now, what's the takeaway here, right? Design every campaign to earn a subscription, not just a click. So, you know, newsletters where if you might have a campaign, sign up to a newsletter. When we do speaking now, we get people to sign up to our newsletter or sign up to LinkedIn or I mean, LinkedIn's probably not right, but even actually just connecting with people on people, which is probably another point. We're trying to do that. Track and encourage dark social behavior too. Like send this to a colleague. So if you have a campaign or a piece of content or whatever, or something of value, the send to colleague call to action is cool because you're asking for the email address.
Yeah.
Who's the person, the email or the phone number of the person who's sending it, and the phone number and email of the person who they're going to send it to.
Yeah, I like that.
So that's really, really clever. And just make things share friendly, PDFs, clips, any sort of resource where it's going to force you to get their details or push you into a community, free or paid, is key.
Nice, Mobes. What's your most important one? Where would you think the most value will be at all 5?
Wow. Okay. So should I answer that? Where should someone start?
Maybe. Yeah.
I think like if you have to think about like where you're going to get the most leverage and which thing is going to yield. Like if you only have, and we talk about this a lot at Red Pandas, like, not everything has to be a war, right? But like, I like the war metaphor where in a war, if you want to dig a tunnel, you have limited resources. You're not going to ask your army to dig 5 tunnels. Oh, let's see which way is the way to freedom or whatever. No, like you're going to dig 1 tunnel. It's life or death. You have no choice.
Yeah.
Now, what we do is not life or death, but I like the analogy, right? Yeah. You're going to put all your resources and focus on the channel that's going to be the best. So I really like that. Now, I believe if you're a small team or a big team, I think the founder-led and team-led content is probably the one you're going to get the most arbitrage and leverage from.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be able to put it, in sales, right? Someone comes in like, hey, this is something our team created. In follow-ups, hey, this is something I created or my team created. In your socials, and the video we've done here, we could easily give it to a writer to turn into an article or a designer to turn into a carousel.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if there's one thing, definitely do that because, we really encourage our clients, right? Like our clients be like, oh, I've always been away and shy from doing that. Too bad, man. Too bad.
2026 is the time.
Tough luck. You got no choice.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I appreciate that, Mobes. All right, guys. Thank you.
Cool.
Thanks for listening to Inbound Buzz. Learn anything? Return the favor by spreading the word. Want to make your mark in digital? Need help with your digital strategy, inbound, and marketing automation efforts? Then visit redpandas.com.au and be sure to tune in next time for another Inbound Buzz hit.